Daddy. Hi, Dad. Press the microphone. Daddy, press the microphone. Dad, say hi to me.
Hi, buddy.
Hi.
That could be the intro to all of our shows.
I don't think so.
All right, as promised, we have an intro.
I have no idea what this intro might be.
I'm confident that this is a better step up. This will be the first one that we're hopefully releasing to the iTunes store or however you listen to your podcast. So I wanted to celebrate the occasion by trying an intro. You can listen to it and see how you react to it, and then we will decide from there if we ever use it again.
I'm listening with my virgin ears. I'm not hearing anything. It's completely silent.
I wonder if you can hear while you're recording.
I don't even hear like a, what do you call them?
Yeah, it's playing on my computer.
I hear absolutely silence. Can we do anything right?
I could upload it again. Are you just double clicking it off of the drive?
Okay. No.
Yeah, do that.
No, I thought I was gonna hear. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. I'm not yelling at you.
No, you're right. My drive.
You're getting these.
From radio.
You're getting these looks.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna play it for me, and I was gonna receive it.
Oh. I'm sorry.
I hear it now.
This is Delta 1400 security.
You are listening to Ground Radio.
Great. That's your wife?
Yeah.
What was that about Delta 1400? Was that your voice? Who was that? What'd you do?
That was me. Do you want to get into it? How I did it?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, is that the Easter egg that we don't want to spoil?
I don't care. It's really the only thing you're going to appreciate. All right. So I have to look at the files here to visualize it. The beginning is the cartoon character walking up. Such a huge fan of the cartoons. Then I grabbed everything on here is free that I found online because, paywall.
Yeah.
But I manipulated a basic AM radio tuning, cut in some spots. The first section, the big band music, that is a free domain big band. A lot of stuff from the early 1900s.
Okay.
That have been recorded. They are now released because no one owns them. So I was using that. The next section that you hear, that is my voice with multiple filters on it with some white noise in the background.
Yeah. And
it says Delta security check 1400, all safe and secure.
Homage.
That is a callback to our radio maintenance history in the military.
1400.
1400. We always did a security check at 1400.
Yes, we did.
And did you get the vibe of what was happening? I don't know. Did I paint a audio picture for you? What was happening?
All right. I'm going to listen to it one more time, and I'm going to not think about how I expected you to play it for me the first time.
This is Delta 1400 security.
You are listening to Ground Radio.
There was like a triple tap, and it sounded like somebody was trying to... It was like, bap, bap, bap. Something's wrong.
That's exactly what it is. That was me hitting my CD case. But you walk up to the radio, you're tuning it, you're not getting what you want, you hit it, you electrocute yourself,
okay,
and finally it's on the right station.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do. So that's kind of our radio maintenance background. I figured that would be kind of fun to put in there.
It's like blowing in the Nintendo cartridge.
So... You're editing this. I don't care.
I'll edit it because I got to take out my dumb going, I don't hear anything. Oh, I was supposed to click play.
The best part is you had the facial expressions of confusion and disappointment. I'm like, wow, he really doesn't like it at all. You're like, I don't hear anything. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if I could even play things over your computer.
I don't know why I thought that would happen. Well, buddy, I have to say that's exciting stuff. We have an intro, and we have the logo that you created, and it's starting to feel like we're really official. The only thing we need now is some advertisers.
I don't foresee that happening anytime soon, and I'm not quite sure they're really going to want to hit us up after this one.
There's no reason for them to think they're going to be reaching a wide audience advertising with us, but we're ready. We're ready nonetheless.
I was thinking right now, if the listener ever wants to maybe confess something, get it off their chest, maybe you committed some type of crime and the guilt is destroying you, you can go to our Facebook page and post it because no one's going to see it.
Yeah.
So you're totally safe.
It's a safe space. I think the listener might even appreciate not having 30 seconds of blah, blah, blah in the beginning, right? I mean, do we even really like advertising? As creators, we want advertising, but do the people who receive the product, do they really want advertising?
As a consumer of the different content on the internet, I would have to say that advertising has been the biggest catch-22 that you can come across because you want your creators to get money. Because if they have money, they can create more stuff that you enjoy. But you have to sit through the advertising. And it's not something that's really new to us. We've been living with advertising our entire lives. But it just seems like with the internet, this was once the place you could go to get away from it all. And now this is where it's almost at its worst.
Well, we can't justify spending almost a full waking day working on this without making a little bit of money, especially if we were going to do research. It's hard to justify that kind of time invested for nothing but the joy of in our souls.
I think a lot of people don't understand what goes into creating things. Now, with us, this is a casual conversation, and we do spend several hours a week working on it, but it's as a hobby. Other people, whenever they are making something so great and doing so much research and hours where it's their full-time job, well, likes don't put food on your table. So you need to have the advertising.
I was raised in a home where we didn't have DVR, obviously, but my parents would always mute the TV during commercials. Like, that's how isolated we tried to be from advertising. My parents weren't the type to listen to their favorite station and stick through the commercials. They would flip around as soon as any advertising came along. It was treated as a nuisance from a very early age.
And now as you've become an adult and now you spend much more time on the internet, you don't even have that option. There is the skip ad situation, but you still have that 5 seconds where they try to get the hook into you.
Was it you I was hanging out with when we were hanging out in person and you said you don't use ad block and you'll sit through the advertising just to benefit the creator?
I do. And I'll be the first to admit that maybe I don't completely understand how all the advertising works. But one thing I really do like about modern day advertising that is such a pet peeve for a lot of people is the target audience that they are aiming for. There are algorithms that they're able to pull off of your computer, your demographic, what you like, what you're even watching at the time, because you have far more choice over watching something specific as opposed to whenever you're young, you're just watching Channel 8. So I will give the advertising a chance because I like the idea that this is something that is generally focused on me.
Yeah.
It is very creepy how it's focused on me, but I like that it's focused on me.
Well, it is useful, if you're the kind of person who likes sciencey stuff and they show you that there's a good deal on microscopes.
The microscope clearance sale that is happening right now.
Yeah, better act quickly. I could see why that's useful for both the seller and the consumer, but my issue is that they usually miss the mark, and I actually go out of my way to not put preferences out there if I don't have to avoid being identifiable.
Well, this is the problem. If you're trying to actively avoid them trying to figure out who you are and how your interests are involved, you'll never get something that's useful. If you just put all in and be like, this is who I am, this is what I'm interested in, you will find more interesting stuff. Now, not all the time. You're going to get the general
Tide.
Yeah, the everyday ones, the big money ones that are just saying, hey, everyone who is an adult, you have to watch this Bounty commercial. You'll get the generic ones, Outback, Steakhouse, so you can...
Yeah.
You like to eat. We think you're a human. It's the most basic of algorithms.
Right.
If they could sell oxygen, they would. You watch just the science channels. Not just the science channels, but you watch them as much as I do.
Yeah.
And we will get some interesting things. We watch a lot of content creator stuff. So you get stuff for websites, website builders, domain names, all that is actually useful to us. I get stuff for microphones all the time now, too.
Wow. Because of that thing we entered into?
A little bit of that and a little bit of just emailing the company that makes my microphone.
Oh,
which
yeah, emails too.
Yeah. Or looking them up on Facebook. You liked blue microphones, so here's an advertisement for 6 microphones.
Yeah.
Which was always, I thought, not the best way to advertise.
No.
Was you bought this thing, here is 6 things just like it. It's a singular, I don't need multiple microphones at this point in time.
Yeah. You got buyer's remorse yet?
I'm sitting here thinking, what would be nice if I had 3 microphones hooked up to this computer? I could barely manage the one that I have.
That is a flaw that I think they're going to fix. I noticed that too. It'll be something very specific too, like the threaded end of your broom handle. And I bought one and it's like, you want another threaded end to your broom handle? And it's like, geez, I hope not.
The first one I bought was terrible. Why are you advertising again? Where do you get that threaded broom handle company outlet store?
It's Amazon. They haven't perfected it yet, and I'm waiting on that. That's a silly one. That's really a little embarrassing on their part that they would offer you the same product, just a different brand when you just bought it.
My biggest problem with Amazon is many times I will search for it on my phone, and once I decide what I want to buy, my wife will buy it through her account.
Oh, yeah.
So as far as Amazon's concerned, I never buy anything I look at, so they're going to keep throwing it at me all the time.
Now, did you ever notice that it'll be a different price in her cart than it is in yours?
No.
No? Okay.
Is that a thing?
I've read something about that. I don't remember the details, but yeah, that is a thing.
Okay. I am curious about that. Internet, if it's a thing, let us know.
Yeah, comment below.
I don't know if the demographics could work against them, because maybe I'm looking up Star Wars stuff.
Maybe.
And they don't have any clue that my wife is into that. It'll sell for cheaper. I don't think that would be the case, but I would be interested in seeing maybe there is some type of demographic price fluctuation.
That is the basis of what I was trying to think of, the way you just described it.
That is a good rumor to start. You heard it here first, folks.
No, they didn't. It was probably on Cracked or something.
You don't know where they heard it from. So I fall on the thumbs up to target advertising.
Okay.
I do not give the thumbs up to how often it's attacking me. I give a thumbs up to how useful the concept is.
Yeah, useful to both parties. I agree with you on that. But one of my big issues with advertising is advertising to children. The famous story in my house was we used to rotate through the same cereals. My mom didn't go for a lot of name brand cereal. And one time, I don't know if it was on sale or what was going on, maybe the boxes were dented, she got honeycombs. And we had never had honeycombs before. The story goes that I was severely disappointed looking at the honeycomb cereal in my bowl as a 5-year-old because they were smushed and pale and not symmetrical the way that they show them in the commercials. And I thought, this doesn't look as appetizing and enjoyable as it. And my mom's like, there you go. And I got my first taste of cynicism.
They were using Instagram filters before Instagram was a thing, apparently. That's exactly how I'm looking at it now.
I have no idea how they made such a pristine bowl. Obviously, we know that food photography is something of an art, and you substitute all kinds of stuff like glue for milk or motor oil for maple syrup and all these weird inedible things that become part of the food photography situation. But I remember that was used as a lesson. So it's pretty manipulating. And as a parent now, what frustrates me is my oldest son is in speech therapy, and there are minor things that you have to make a big deal about, like he used the right pronoun in the sentence. And it's like, we have to say, great job, you're awesome, you're the best.
Positive reinforcement. Yeah.
Yeah, and then turn around and have him watching TV and then saying, this thing is awesome, this thing is the best, you're going to have a great time, or make it look like you're going to have more friends and a better life because of this piece of junk. And I get frustrated that I have to destroy his innocence and say, oh, well, sometimes people say things are awesome when they're just, I don't know.
That's great. Okay. I was so confused where the story was going. I was wondering if he was like, well, that's the reward I want. But no, you're basically telling him, well, sometimes people have to oversell as you're overselling.
It's a complete inconsistency in adult behavior that we've tipped our hand to the kids, and now I have to tell them, no, this is actually how it works. And I know that's imparting common sense to him. I know it's important for him to have street smarts and a discerning palate, and I'm not the only one. There's been a big controversy about advertising to children for decades now. I don't think there's any moves towards making a change in that area, but it's something that I wholeheartedly agree with.
You mentioned cereal, and that is probably the biggest culprit of advertising directly to children.
Yeah.
You've heard about that's the reason why there's such big characters and they're sort of facing down, and that they will even stock the cereal boxes at a certain height. So the cartoon characters are looking directly at the children. Have you ever heard that?
Maybe. That sounds right. Absolutely. Next time I go to the supermarket, I'm going to check.
They are cartoon characters. Kids are not buying these things, but they are advertising straight to the children because kids are the one that are controlling what they eat, what they are going to be there badgering their parents to buy. So they put these cartoon characters on the box, big eyes, big bright colors, enlarged to show texture, staring right at the children just to get into mom and dad's pocketbook.
Yeah.
Now, kids eat cereal. My daughter eats cereal. She's a big fan of Cheerios right now.
Nice.
But, she just learned how to put food in her face anyway. So the advertising is very noticeable with her, though.
Wow, already.
She's not like a target demographic. At this point, anything that we're going to buy involving her, they're going to use maybe scare tactics, or you'd be a better parent if you bought this.
Mm-hmm. Or this will free up a lot of your time. That's another one.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how Graco or whoever is trying to sell me something is going to put forth. But whenever we are sitting around watching television, she's playing around with all of her toys. We could have several people in the house. During the television program, she's goofing around. She's obviously not sitting there watching. When the commercials come on,
oh, I see.
She just locks down.
Riveted.
I feel so bad fast forwarding the commercials because this is like the part that she waits for.
Yeah.
So it's the movement, it's the music, it's the fast pace, bright colors. Something is engaging her.
Yeah.
And I believe that that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, that's how they designed it.
There's something a part about it that's engaging me as well, but maybe I just don't notice it as much as my daughter, because now I'm to the point to where if I see a commercial, I'm going to fade out.
Yeah, we become pros at ignoring advertising. It's almost second nature, at least to me. That's interesting, though, because that goes against that study that they did where it said kids below a certain age can't tell the difference between the program and the paid advertising. And yet you're saying she prefers the paid advertising. She obviously doesn't even pay attention to the program at all, but that shows that she knows there's a difference.
Well, now this is going to go with a different type of programming and advertising. If you have a cartoon that they're watching, they're already using those tactics to keep the kids involved in the cartoon anyway.
Mm-hmm.
She does not know the difference between Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and Mythbusters. as far as content that she is getting in.
Okay.
But she knows that the colors on the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, the noises, the movements are appealing to her, whereas Mythbusters probably looks more dull to her.
Sure.
So whenever she's watching something dull, she's going to play with her toys. And then when something riveting to her comes on, she's going to lock down. If Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, I shouldn't say if, when Mickey Mouse Clubhouse starts advertising other shows, it's sort of the same thing. They keep the same type of animation, the same type of movement.
Yeah.
So the child will not know the difference between the show and the commercial.
Mm-hmm. So again, it's intentional.
Now, if Disney was particularly evil in this aspect...
Another if that should be a when.
Yeah. If they were trying to sell Mickey Mouse cereal...
Yeah.
They would probably use the same type of advertising. They would use it in the show. They would talk about how great it is that all the friends get together and they have a big bowl of this cereal. Well, now all they do is just tell you to go to the amusement park because that's $1,000 more than a bowl of cereal. Disney's not in the cereal game because they have bigger fish to fry. You mentioned earlier, though, about the food photography being art.
Yeah.
Whenever I was in high school, I took a vocational course that turned into graphic design. I always wanted to be a photographer because I'm like a ton of other people in the world who thinks that being a photographer would be easy and fantastic and worthwhile. And that's one of those pipe dreams, being an artist. Not always fruitful.
No.
I originally took this vocational course for film. Long story short, it turned into graphic design, but I still always wanted to be a photographer. So before I decided what I was going to do after high school, I visited the Art Institute of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at their photography section. And there were a lot of corporate photography advertising.
Yeah.
And one of them was lifesavers. And it was this really beautiful, colorful picture of a bunch of lifesavers in the background, blurred out, but you could obviously tell their shape and their colors.
Still recognizable, yeah.
And then the 5 distinct flavors up close in the foreground. And they looked so appetizing.
Yeah.
Whenever we spoke to the artist, she said that she went through 60 packs just to find 5 that looked good.
Didn't have any imperfections.
No bubbles, nothing chipped or broken. You could see the word lifesaver.
Yeah.
She did that, and then she took pictures and didn't think that they looked right. So she popped every single one of them in her mouth for a few seconds and then put them back out and made them look good. Because if you look at lifesavers, they look kind of dry. There's like that kind of a white film on the outside of them.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of time, thought, and money put into making things look appetizing. And
yeah,
it's just the concept of, man, I really want to eat that lifesaver. And then thinking, wow, that was already in someone's mouth.
Yeah, she didn't spritz it with some water or anything. She sucked the film off the outside and then put it back down.
That's the gritty underside of food photography.
It is misleading the way that things can look appetizing and really it's inedible.
So basically every type of fast food or just any type of food in general is what you're talking about, right?
Well, you do prefer the sad-looking buns. You said that earlier, so...
It's realistic. It's realistic to my expectations, is the sad-looking buns.
They're not appealing to you with the big, perfect, fluffy, crisp burger. You want to see that sadness shape.
I'm a realist. That's all I'm saying, is I am old enough to know the difference between the burger on the sign and the burger I'm going to get. Now, the burger on the sign, I know would taste terrible.
Yeah.
If it's even edible.
Yeah.
In my graphic design course, I did take a large interest into advertising. I wanted to be more of a corporate graphic designer than I would have been just someone who was doing it as an art form. I was perfectly fine making something I thought looked terrible if the guy signing the paycheck liked it. A lot of people had a problem with that. I didn't.
No.
If I could sell out, I'm doing it. I already know that about myself.
I found advertising to be appealing as well. I always like slogans. I love logos. Jingles, not so much. Jingles get under my skin. But you know what?
That's the point of the jingle.
Yeah, good on him for earworming me a few times, I'll tell you. I did think about getting into advertising myself. But you know what? Only to make it better. And maybe what's memorable to me isn't what really works for society. And that's what these guys know who are making these advertisements, and you see them and go, does that jingle really get people to... And yeah, it does.
When you say to make it better, are you saying to make it more enjoyable?
Yeah, make it entertaining too. Make it so that it's not something that you want to mute. It's not something you want to change the channel. It's something that you say, I'm going to stick around for this because I might get even more entertainment value from the advertising as well. That's the best.
All right. Do you think that that's the goal?
No, I don't. But that's what I was saying is at first was I don't know if that would be good for selling things better. Maybe that's not the way that it works for the rest of society, but I would listen if I see creativity, if I see something entertaining instead of just repeating the same phone number 4 times in a row. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to be excited to say, you know what, they deserve, maybe even if it's a couple extra dollars, I say, well, I like their advertising campaign.
What you want to do is very honorable. And I think everybody would like things to be more enjoyable. That's a blanket statement. I'm willing to put my foot down saying that people like to be happier. But I don't think that's the goal of the advertising. I'm not saying they purposely want to annoy you, but I know the phone number of a carpet place down in Maryland because of their horrible...
800-588-2300.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Hey, and if they would like to buy some ad space on Ground Radio, feel free to contact us. That commercial was terrible.
Yes.
But you remembered their phone number. Now, this goes back to the target advertising. It's not to make people enjoy it more. It's to prevent people from getting away from it.
Yeah.
And if you can trap somebody down
Yeah.
and just inject them with this ear parasite that can never get out of their head, you've done your job.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about at length Arby's and how great and enjoyable their social media team is, but it doesn't make me particularly want to eat Arby's anymore.
No.
So it's a fine line. I respect your ideas,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there are a lot of people who get into advertising with the same concept and they don't have jobs after a while.
Yeah, Arby's is a great example, man. They're doing nothing to be annoying. They're trying to be entertaining and interesting and relevant.
Nailing the demographic. They're looking at younger individuals. They're embracing the geek culture.
And yet neither one of us are good. We're going to pass right to Wendy's after we click like on their clever Arby's sauce sculpture.
What are the worst kinds of advertising that you can think of? I'm not talking necessarily about they didn't get their point across. I'm talking about the generalized type of commercial or video or billboard that just assaults your senses every time you see it, and everyone seems to use them.
Well, it's not visual. The most frustrated I get is from the audio ones where they don't do anything but repeat and say the phone number. I kind of alluded to it before. That is like the lowest level of give us your money. And when it's just one of those like get out of debt, call this number, and then they repeat it 4 times. I hate those. I don't know how much they pay for that spot, but it's like, how could you not just bump it up a little bit more to make me listen? Because I'm definitely going to change it.
I want to see the numbers on who listens to the radio anymore.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're getting lower and lower, and ad revenue is becoming cheaper and cheaper. As far as radio commercials go, nothing annoys me more than this strange narrative of 2 individuals who walk up to each other,
Yeah.
and they start this minor story, but it just turns into, you know what? Here it is. Hey, let's go get lunch. I would love to get lunch, but I have to buy copier parts. Oh, that's gonna take forever. Well, you don't know about Copy Place.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go into this long, convoluted explanation.
Mm-hmm.
that you would never have with another human being.
Please tell me more about this product that will save everything, and I will be able to eat my lunch now.
And at the end of the commercial, it's like, well, let's forget lunch. Let's just go over to the store. It's like, no. If I'm coming over to you and say, hey, let's go get lunch. Oh, I got to buy coffee stuff. I'm like, all right, I'll bring you something back. That's the end of that interaction. What annoys me is that you're paying for seconds on the radio.
Yeah.
So if that's a 30-second spot, there's 10 seconds of narrative that you could have just cut out. Because if someone spoke to me like that, I would make it a point to never talk to them in the office.
It's like those old school pornos where the guy has to show up with a pizza box. Hey, you guys order extra anchovies? But really, that's not what we turned it on for.
Just to start a narrative. And it's about as much thought put into it.
Yeah.
Love it. The television ones have subdued a lot. But I think it's because you don't have as much local television as you used to.
Yeah. Everybody's seeing the same stuff nationwide now, it seems like, for the most part.
I always rank this of the most annoying commercials, but now that they're gone, I kind of miss them. Would be the local car dealership commercials where the guys have access to a green screen and they feel like they absolutely have to need it. You know these commercials where the audio is 5 to 10 decibels louder than normal.
Yeah.
Because they purposely do that.
Yeah, they wake you up.
I miss those.
Well, they still exist. You know, now that we have DVR, it's just skipping through everything. But those commercials do exist. I know that there's a diner close to my hometown, New York, where they still are making them. As far as I know, you know, people still talk about them. I would have to go to YouTube to find it. But they're really corny, and the volume is all different. And it must work because it's, like you said, it's memorable.
The diner that you're speaking of.
Yeah.
What color was the sign?
Yellow.
Was it yellow? Was there any red?
I think there must be, but I remember yellow and black. I have to look.
Well, I'm going to say they could be twice as successful if they would do yellow and red.
Those are the attention grabbing.
Everyone uses yellow and red.
Mm.
So I have been researching colors for years now. I said I did graphic design and I really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
And every time that I would make a decision based on color, which I find I do a lot now, when you paint a baby's room, you are a terrible parent until you look up color psychology to make sure you're not damaging your child's psyche by choosing the wrong shade of lilac.
Wow.
That's how they make you feel.
Yeah.
But when I first found out about color psychology, it was in my graphic design course. And the exact example brought up was red induces hunger and yellow grabs attention.
Yeah.
Now, I took that for face value. The teacher said it, so I believed it. But I did look back into it, and I have a few theories. But before I get into the theories, realize how often this is used. McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, KFC, Hardee's, Sonic, Texas Roadhouse, Applebee's, Arby's, TGI Fridays, Denny's, Outback, and Red Lobster. Red Lobster, Paul. It's in the name.
That's a long list, man. So the major color in all those logos is red, you're saying?
They will use some aspect of red. Many of them will use yellow, which is known as an attention grabber. And I'm sure there are a ton that I missed.
Right. So what you want to get to the root of here, is that something that we learned, or is that something that we're born with?
Well, this is where I'm going to avoid the phrase studies have been ran and all that. Okay. I have looked into this because this has always been interesting to me. But I have down the board found that the common thought is that red induces hunger, red increases heart rate, red is used to show passion and intensity.
And I think it does serve that function.
I absolutely agree with you. Why? That is the question I can't find an answer that I feel 100% comfortable with.
Yeah.
Do we want to hear theories?
We're talking about food. We're talking about things that people ate for thousands of years.
You're tracking.
Okay. I'm thinking red is the color of a lot of the things that we ate as a species for thousands of years.
So berries, fruits,
And meat.
and meat, we were able to distinguish them better than other animals. Like, my dog cannot see red, and your dog cannot. No, well, you don't have a dog, and no one's dog can see red. Their eyes just aren't tuned to it, but humans are.
I didn't realize that.
I believe that that was a beneficial trait because whenever we were evolving, it was beneficial for us to be able to see the red berries.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't see the red berries, you didn't exactly procreate.
Okay. So if we're living in the trees, if we're going back that far, we are relaxed in the green environment, and then up pops a yellow lion, and all of a sudden we have to be on the alert.
This is exactly what I was getting into. I have seen plenty of theories that link to that. It's evolutionary, and I like that idea. There's also another type of theory that I have now. It's more modern.
Okay.
You are so used to seeing red and yellow advertising food that now when you see red and yellow, you instantly think it's food.
Yeah. So it is a conditioning. It possibly is a conditioning situation more than a primal.
Those are the two things that I could come up with.
So what color did you paint your daughter's room, man?
Blue. Tranquil. There's blue and brown.
Okay. Oh, earthy. I see.
There's actually a big tree in there, too. That's the reason why the brown's in there. I did use a small portion of leaves that were yellow and orange to stimulate her,
Yeah.
but they are not overwhelming. Generally, it's blue,
Yeah.
which has been equated to water,
Right.
and brown, which has been equated to earth. Do I sound super hippie now, or...
I can't imagine that when you tell me that studies have been done, maybe you didn't say this specifically, but
I think I mocked that.
when I hear studies have been done that certain colors will create a personality in a child, I'm like thinking somebody majored in psychology and is blaming all their problems in life back to the color of their room because they just don't know where else to go with it.
I love those concepts. I don't buy into them, but I do realize that her room is calming.
Yeah.
After I painted it, we had to redo our living room, and I really liked the paint that we chose, and our living room is very relaxing as well. Our kitchen is more bright and fun. It's a brighter blue.
So do you think warm colors in the home are a mistake?
I believe every room in the home should have a different identity.
All right.
This is sounding...
Mr. Motif.
I think that if you want a specific room to have a specific feel, the color of the room is not to be underestimated.
Okay.
I loved having a dark bedroom. I don't now, and I wish I did, because it made me feel more cool and relaxed whenever I was trying to sleep.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't want to have a dark house, because during the summer, whenever I would open up the windows and everything, I want that energy to flow in. So maybe I am sounding a little off the deep end on this.
I'm jealous, man. I'm not a homeowner, so I don't get to make these decisions.
It was one of the contributing factors of me buying a home, because I hated apartments that was just always white, which gave the feeling of clean.
I'm just hoping there's not like a whole lot of spackle spots when I move into my next place. Like, that's my big goal. Center the picture, everyone, and then we can all use that spackle spot, and we don't have to...
Well, whenever you move, I will be a friend, and I will help you not only move, but I will help you choose colors if you want that.
Yeah. I'm not even going to watch HGTV. I'm going to take it all from Z.
Speaking of friends, do any of them try to sell you things?
You know, we're picking on these corporations for trying to find the best way to get people to buy things. And then on the other hand now, especially with social media, my own friends are advertising to me, trying to tell me that something is awesome when it's probably going to end up being clutter. And I don't mean to put down everyone's little Tupperware party and Lularoo and whatever else they're doing. I understand that people are enjoying themselves. People are involved in something positive, making new friends. So I'm like, should I be giving my money to corporations, or should I even spend, just like I said before, I'm willing to spend a little extra if your advertising campaign entertains me. I should be willing to spend a little extra in my community If I know I'm going to buy face wash anyway at Walmart for $2.50, why not buy the $7 one from my friend?
Well, now, is your friend own a small business?
No.
Or are they part of an inverted V plan? I don't know if we could call things that.
The technical term is multi-level marketing, but we all call them pyramid schemes or the like, where you are having a quota and there's incentives to sell more. And I've never been involved in one of those, but it seems like that's one of those things that can create a lot of pressure in your life too, when you got a garage full of clutter and nobody wants to buy it off you.
Yeah, I have a hard time selling my stuff that I need to just get rid of. I couldn't imagine taking in inventory and trying to sell it.
Right. We know ourselves enough not to do it. We know if we're going to waste time, it's going to be something different. But I don't mean to not be supportive. I feel bad automatically saying no, because I don't think it's not consistent with my personality to feed these corporations that we just criticized for half hour.
Yeah, we do need corporations and we do need advertising. It's just the effective kind just seem to drive me insane.
Yeah.
Or seeing the same thing over and over. These multi-level marketing and what they do to people, I feel that on a personal level because it completely changes how I view people who used to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are being pressured to sell.
Yeah.
And they will use every single opportunity to sell.
Yes, they do.
My friend's mom, which is a strange relationship to begin with, but very, very nice lady.
Mm-hmm. What's she trying to shill?
She got wind that I would get migraines.
Okay.
And instantly, she sends me a text message. I heard you have migraines. And I said, well, yes, I do. And when you have migraines, you can connect to other people who get migraines because it's such a helpless feeling that it's nice to know that other people are out there and they may have some secrets that could help you.
Yeah.
Well, she told me, I have the perfect thing for you. So I got super excited. Oh, maybe she has some type of medicine. Maybe she has some type of home remedy. Nope.
Wow.
She was selling some type of oils or some type of health supplements that I could tell were part of this multi-level marketing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the essential oils, sure. There's a lot of people who are big believers in that. Now, the thing is I think she is a real big believer. It's just like you believe that the room is better because it's blue and brown. She believes that scents are the be-all, end-all of our mood and personality and all that. So I could see why she might actually be thinking she's helping.
I completely agree with you. But would she have even messaged me if she wasn't selling something? Like, that's where our relationship was.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where I was kind of, I don't know how I feel about it. So yes, maybe she was trying to help me, and maybe I am a jerk now that you've brought that up. But I just assume she's just trying to get money out of me, so I can't take what she's saying as authentic.
I'm not saying that it would have helped you. I'm just saying that a lot of people really do believe in the product that they're selling, at least when they first get started in it. Now, I don't know how long she had been in this essential oil thing. I have a story about this girl. She's a little bit younger, and we knew her through a friend. She just recently started some kind of face cleanser pyramid scheme, and she messaged my wife first to say, hey, I got this really great stuff. And my wife said, no thanks. I have a regimen or whatever she said to blow it off. 2 days later, she messaged me to say Mother's Day's coming up. Maybe your wife might like this. I don't know if she doesn't realize that husbands and wives communicate.
Well, in her defense, not a lot do. But she's using strong-arm tactics on you is what she's doing.
Yeah. So I said this. I said my clutter line. I wasn't as soft as my wife had been to her. I said, we got enough clutter. We're trying to downsize everything, so no thanks.
You question the authenticity whenever you stop becoming a friend and you start becoming a potential customer.
Yeah. And so I, based on that tactic, I'm not interested and I am a little frustrated. But there have been a few times where I've been like, no, screw that. I'm going to get the better price. And then I've kind of regretted it and thought to myself, no, I should go through my friend. That's the right thing to do.
I don't want to end on a sour note of now our friends aren't our friends because we're all just trying to sell anything. Which, by the way, think of all the people that have become super rich off of these. You're not going to.
Yeah.
Just take that into consideration whenever you start asking your friends. Get into multi-level marketing, all you do is lose friends and don't make money. But one type of advertising that I would love to highlight would be the ingenious Girl Scouts of Colorado.
Colorado specifically?
Colorado specifically. These young ladies chose to set up shop to sell their cookies right outside the marijuana dispensaries.
Oh,
Now that is ground-pounding target advertising and sales right there. So I would like to applaud them. I love that.
I got nothing bad to say.
This is how the Girl Scouts benefit young ladies. You're able to put that out there, and they use their skills and their chops. I get a thumbs up to them.
I might have given them a 20% tip.
Well, walking out of that store, you may not have been able to count the money anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right, Paul, that's going to wrap up what we got.
All right.
But I will talk to you next week.